Good morning. It is about 6:45 Saturday morning. Nice, quiet, and peaceful. Got 82 in the garage. I had installed a brand new steering box from a company that I will not name. It just leaks. So I'm going to have to replace that. I bought a brand new steering box, and I'm going to replace it with that and send the other leaking piece of crap back to where it came from and get my money back. I'm also going to reroute some things. I'm going to reroute the turbo oil drain. I don't like the way that it is routed, and I've been doing some work on the water pump. Right down here where these heater hoses run, this one actually comes in contact with part of the hot side right there. And I've got both of them wrapped in thermal wrap. I just don't trust it. So I pulled out the inserts for this water pump, and then I've threaded both holes, and I'm putting 45s in. So this is the one. It may actually come in contact. I've got some room to grind here, and I may have to, because this may come in contact with the hot side as well, but it's metal to metal. I'm not so worried about that. I just don't want to burn through a hose on the highway and have coolant spraying all over the world. Anyway, so I'm going to get started tearing this thing down. Once it leaves the garage, it should be ready to really put on some miles. I've got the exhaust cleaned up and nicely tucked in, and I'm real happy with how it looks and sounds. So I'm gonna make double sure that everything is routed and away from the heat. I'm still working on the lower radiator hose, and I bought a 360 degree swivel for the water pump for that lower hose, so I can reroute it away from the hot side. Everything is tied in there, but I will get it all done. I'm also going to relocate the coil packs on this side because I just do not like how the wires come in contact with this exhaust manifold, and I'm probably going to take off that manifold and wrap it in the same black wrap. So I've got some work to do there. Anyway, much to do. It's the weekend before my birthday. 4th of July is next week, and I've got this thing registered and insured, and I want to put that registration and insurance to good use and start driving it. So I'm looking forward to having a little bit of fun. As always, much to do. All right. As you can see, thing is leaking. It's leaking on down onto an anti-sway bar, and it just drips all the way down and just makes the biggest mess. Those that know me know that I really hate doing jobs twice, and the fact that I put a remanufactured unit on here and it leaked right away, I am not happy about it. This is not an easy job anyway, but the fact that I just did it makes it even worse. Oh well, quit your crying, get it done. Sunday morning, last day of June. That Pitman arm really slowed me down yesterday, so it ate up a lot of my day, and by the time I was done with that, it was hot, and that slowed me down as well. So, I do have the exhaust manifold off of this side. I'm wrapping it. I'll show you that in a moment. And, but I've got all the steering in. The steering wheel is not straight, so, and I don't know that I am in the center of the travel on that steering box. So once I get the accessories put back in, and the hydraulic lines hooked back up. I will see where I am with that, and of course I would imagine I'll still have some adjustment there. I'm going to take these coil packs off, and I've got a new bracket for them that puts them much closer together. So I'm going to put all of that together, and I may mount it to the firewall back in the back, and I'll have to get some longer wires, but that will keep those plug wires off of the manifold. I've put this thermal wrap on them, but I don't trust that that's going to be enough. So I've got some work to do there. Still don't have my other fitting for the water pump, so I'm waiting on that. And I have started wrapping the exhaust manifold. I've just got zip ties on it right now in case I have to undo it, and I don't want to waste those metal clips. But about halfway through that, and get that all wrapped up. But slowly but surely, things are coming together. I am going to reroute transmission cooler lines, and I drilled a hole in this bracket to rerun the oil line, but I'm going to put the hot side pipe in for that side and then position everything to make sure that it's not coming in contact. So, as always, much to do. Happy birthday, America. It is the 4th of July, 2019. I've been working on 82 off and on the past couple of days. I've got the new steering box put in. I have a bracket to relocate my coil packs, and that is going to go down here on the fender wall. I got a spark plug wire kit that I can customize the length on them so that I can put those on. I have wrapped that exhaust manifold. It is outside on the porch, just painted that black so everything looks nice. I'm gonna put that back on. I'm gonna clear the Jeep out of the garage, pull the Buick into the middle of the garage. I'm gonna get underneath it and redo and reroute the transmission lines. I had one that was too close to the hot side, and it actually burned through the hose. Luckily didn't start a fire because transmission fluid burns pretty good. Anyway, was able to do a quick fix on that, but need to do a permanent fix on that. So gonna get up under there and do that. Still don't have the fitting that I need for the 45-degree 3/4 MPT for the water pump. The other water pump is threaded, and I've got the 3/8 MPT 45-degree fitting, but the other one, when it arrived, it was not 3/4 MPT. So it being a holiday and all, things are a little bit slower. It is scheduled to be here tomorrow, but unfortunately I am leaving town tomorrow, so that part of the project is going to have to wait. But once I do get that fitting, I have to reroute that bottom radiator hose. I got a 360-degree swivel for that other water pump. So I'm going to reroute that away from the hot side. And once that is done, I think everything is clear of heat. And I shouldn't, knock on wood, have any more problems in that regard. So let's make it happen, Captain. Much to do. Good morning. It's a Sunday morning. Have had 82 in the garage for about a week. Taking care of a bunch of different things. Finally got the final fitting that I needed for the water pump. Got two 45-degree fittings to come out of the side of that. This hot pipe runs right under here, and things were just way too close. So wanted to redirect some of that. So got that in yesterday. this setup overnight. I'm going to go ahead and put the hot side pipe in this morning, and I'm going to reroute this lower radiator hose to make sure it is away from the heat. And then I have another problem. Put in the new steering box, and it actually comes in contact with that pulley. So I'm going to try and clearance the box a little, give it a little bit more room, maybe 1/8 of an inch. I hope it doesn't move around much, but it's what it is. Got a deal. And I need to do spark plug wires. I got them so that I can do custom length. So we'll get all of that done. And on the inside, the ignition switch in the column, I believe, was going out. So got a new one. It is not easy to get to in there. There's still a screw that screws right into the column that has been giving me fits, and I don't want to strip it out, so I'm trying to be very careful. But that's got to come out and be replaced, and then all of that has got to go back together. What else has to happen today? Those are the big things, and then it'll run again, and hopefully stay running. Oh, neighbor of mine, Kevin, sorry to make everyone seasick, did some aluminum welding for me for the blow-off valve. And that was not the easiest weld. This is the thinnest stuff, and he has a little spool for that, and he was nice enough to weld that on for me. He was concerned about the looks of the weld. I told him this is a project of function over form, so I'm not worried about it if it's pretty stack of dimes. I just want it to work. Anyway, still much to do. We are what, July? Around the 15th of July, somewhere around there, and October is looming. So we will see what we can get done. Spare parts cruising the coast, still pushing.
Never a good thing when your car becomes a shelf.
Much to do, as always. Got several lower radiator hoses that I've been trying, but none of them was the right combination. So I went to the parts store and got one that hopefully is 1.5 inch ID, 21 inches long. We will see what happens. Get up under there and see if that fits. Then I will probably start working on spark plug wires. And I'm going to have to clearance that. That is just a little too tight and is going to come in contact. So I'm going to clearance that a little bit. Get the grinder after that brand new steering box. What else we got? I routed the oil drain through that hole that I made. And I think once I get that bolted in, it's going to keep it up and away from the heat source, which is always the goal. And pleased with how the water pump came out. I've got tons of clearance under there between the hot side and this hose, so it shouldn't melt. I'm probably going to have to heat this up and get this turned around, facing forward a little bit, because I don't think the AC compressor will fit back on there unless I do. And once all of those things are done, I still have to work on the electrical, the ignition switch in the column on the inside. So I've been grocery shopping and going to the parts store and doing everything but working on my car. Now it's 92 degrees and 1:30 and I gotta get busy. I've actually made a little progress. With the help of my lovely wife, I got that the driver's side hot side pipe installed, perfectly flat and engaged. Nothing is touching, but I am going to wrap that lower radiator hose in a little insulator wrap just to be sure. But everything is clear and away from heat. I clearanced down there for that pulley. May not be able to get it at a good angle, but it is good and clear with at least 1/8 inch. And this stuff I found interesting. Was using that around the spark plug wires to keep things from burning. And this stuff doesn't burn, but this Velcro stuff, yeah, not so much. So let's see what the wire looks like underneath. Yeah, wire looks fine. So the insulator wrap does indeed work. But, wow. So, but it is all looking good. I still need to create my spark plug wires and run them down there and figure out how I'm going to route all of that. But everything clears. It doesn't always clear a lot, but it clears with, at least 1/4 inch or so. Got everything wrapped with insulator wrap, except for the manifold on the passenger side. But that's where the manifolds always sit. There's really nothing down there, so I may do it one day, but not right away. I want to get this thing running. So the lower hose is done. The transmission cooler lines are done down there, and things are looking okay. So once I get those plug wires done, should be ready to crank up. Alright, 82 has made some progress. It is July 17th. I do have keyed on power again to trip the relay that turns on fuel pump, fuel injector, stuff you need. And I still have a few things to do in here, but by and large I've gotten a lot of things done. I had my wife come out and help me make sure I had these positioned perfectly and hopefully have a good seal on all of the P-bands. I'm going to have to get some 1.5 inch pipe and go ahead and direct that on down and out. That is driver's side wastegate. And what do I got to do? Everything, I think I've got enough space between everything that makes heat. So the only thing I'm a little worried about is this transmission line, so I may try and route it so it comes over here and over on this side, and that may work out better. Got the ignition switch changed out in the dash. That was no small project. That took a while. And got everything back together in there, and I'm about to put the bezel back in, and I painted that bezel, painted over the lovely wood grain and painted it black. So that's going to go right there. The only gauges that currently work are the clock, which is not really a gauge, I understand. The voltmeter works. Of course, the speedometer doesn't work because I have a 4L60E and there is no place for a speedometer cable. The fuel gauge is getting power, but for some reason it is not happy with the amperage output of the hanger, or the gate, or the float that's in the hanger. So I've got to get that figured out. And of course the coolant temperature is not hooked up in there. I'm going to end up replacing all of that, putting in better gauges. But that ignition switch is on the top of the column, about another 4 inches from where my finger is, and had to drop the column. There's 2 nuts underneath to be able to do that, and I mean, it is tight in there, and I've got big fat hands, and that does not help. Anyway, that is all done, and again, I have keep power under the hood, which means that everything else should work. So hopefully I fixed the problem, and that is going to be reliable. So the only thing that is keeping me from cranking it over and running is spark plug wires. I had to get a crimper for specific to spark plug wires, and it may not be here for a couple of days, so that is unfortunate. I wanted to get this running and moving. I've got to get it out of the garage. I'm going out of town, and I want to put my Corvette in the garage, so I'm going to have to roll and push, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm on vacation, on my way to the beach, but 82 is making progress.